Thanks for tuning in to LinkedIn and the Job Search, presented by Light of Christ Church in Charlotte, North Carolina. Our presenter today is Doug Havas, who has 35 plus years of sales leadership. Stay tuned to the end to find out how to get a one-on-one mentor for your job search needs.
With that, let me just talk a little bit about, just exactly what LinkedIn is. So LinkedIn is by far the largest social networking site in the world, 133 plus million users just in the US alone. But the important thing for this conversation is that 87% of recruiters use LinkedIn as a part of their candidate search. So if you're not on LinkedIn, you're missing a huge, huge audience of recruiters. So it's important to be on LinkedIn during that job search. The other thing is you need to understand about LinkedIn is it's all based on the connections that you have. So the more connections you have with other people, the better the tool is going to work for you and the better chance you're going to be able to find someone that can help you in your job search, introduce you to opportunities, introduce you to hiring managers, etc. So it's a little bit like Facebook. If you don't have any friends on Facebook, it's not terribly interactive. But with a lot of connections on LinkedIn, again, it can be highly, highly interactive and extremely helpful. So really, I think you should be looking at LinkedIn as sort of like a search engine, much like Google, but specifically professionals and specifically for job searching. So with that, let me go through, I want to talk about 10 ways that I think you can use LinkedIn or things that you should be considering during the job search. So the first and most important thing I think is if you don't have a profile, clearly create one. But when you create that file, make sure that you completely keep it up to date. So make sure you have a profile picture in there. Make sure that you post all the skills. I think there's like 45,000 different skills available in LinkedIn. So definitely post your skills, but update your profile on a pretty regular basis. Keep it fresh. The other thing is, I look at LinkedIn as it's a way for you to sort of tell your story. It's not a resume. It could be more colorful than that. So use LinkedIn to sort of tell a story, focus on where you're heading and what it is you want to do, and don't focus so much on the past. Don't spend a whole lot of time talking about those great and wonderful accomplishments you had 15, 20 years ago. Really focus on what you're doing today, where you're heading, and so forth. So the other thing is make sure that you use that headline, which is basically your picture, your name, and how you describe yourself in the way of a title. Use that to really highlight what's the main objective I'm going for. So keep it up to date because frankly, people can tell if you don't keep your LinkedIn profile up to date. And if it's not up to date, it's kind of a negative. So people will say, clearly you're not very, either ignorant of LinkedIn or you're lazy or whatever. So it's a very good thing to keep your LinkedIn looking up to date and fresh. The other thing is, like I said, make sure that you are focusing on your most recent experience because that's what people really want to see. Again, they don't want to see that 15, 20-year-old stuff. In LinkedIn, you have the ability to do recommendations for other people and also give endorsements to other people for their various skills. So I highly recommend that you search out the opportunity to give people recommendations, because a lot of times if you give someone a recommendation, a lot of times they're going to want to give back and give you a recommendation, and same with endorsements. So I would actively look to provide those recommendations, endorsements. You'll get them back. If not, that's okay. Don't be shy. Feel free to ask for recommendations, endorsements from some of your connections. So I talked about the headline. So again, it's really, really important that you keep that headline very crisp and clear, because when people do searches, at first, all they're going to see is your photo, your name, and that headline, which basically describes who you are or what you're looking for. So make sure it stands out, make sure it's really clear about what you're looking for, et cetera, and use some language that grabs attention. So don't say, I'm an account manager or a salesperson. Put something in there like, account manager looking to help a company grow through new customers or something like that. That tells people who you are and what it is you're trying to do and the kind of value that you provide. The other thing is, obviously, let people know you're available. So obviously this is only true if you're actively searching for a job and you're unemployed. If you're currently working for someone and you don't want them to know that you're looking for that next great opportunity, you probably don't want to announce the fact you're looking for a job. But if you're in that first category, make sure that you announce the fact that you are looking for a job, and that should be included in your headline. The other thing that's really, really key is go into those privacy policies and under settings. And in the privacy policy, there is on the left-hand side a column, and one of the options there is job seeking preferences. Click on that and answer some of the questions and create the profile that you want, because that's what's going to allow recruiters to see you as they're searching for candidates for their respective jobs. So that's a really, really important thing to do. It basically tells the world, I'm interested and I'm available for a job, and here's specifically what I'm looking for. And like I say, use descriptive language when you tell people that you're looking for a job. The other thing that I did that I found to be very, very effective when I was looking for a job on LinkedIn is I did a lot of research on specific companies that I was interested in. So my suggestion is make a list of the companies that you are interested in, and then you can use LinkedIn and you can use the advanced search capability to research the company, look for major events, look for press releases, look for jobs, look for hiring managers, look for executives you might be able to connect to. So use that advanced search and look for those targeted companies and filter using that advanced search. And you can find specific companies or types of companies by geography, by type of company, etc. The other thing is on the LinkedIn profile, you have a tab up at the top called Jobs. So that's a really key tab that you want to be using, because again, that is another way that you can specifically search for jobs by geography, by type of job, by specific companies, or all the above. So the other thing that I'm a big fan of is reaching out to your network of alumni, whether it's high school folks or where you went to college. So this is a really great way to engage with people. So I went to the University of Maryland, and one of the things that I did is I actually searched for people who went to the University of Maryland at specific companies that I was interested in. And if there's a connection there, or you know that there's somebody from your college that is working at the company you're interested in, reach out to them. You know, you have a common connection. You went to the same school, whether you know that person or not, it's okay. You went to the same university or the same high school, and people want to help people that went to the same school as they did. So use that feature and look for alumni in LinkedIn. So the other thing that's really important is be active on LinkedIn. Don't have your profile just sitting there. It's very important that people see you on LinkedIn. They see you be active. So post articles, post videos, use LinkedIn to really show your credibility and the level of expertise that you have in your particular field of work. And so interact as much as you can. Look for posts, like them, share them, applaud them, make comments about a particular article that gets posted. It allows you to show your expertise. And so don't just say, hey, great article, but put some insightful comments in there that shows, yes, I read the article and I really understand its content, and it helps you develop some credibility. The other thing that LinkedIn has is something called professional groups. I won't spend a lot of time on this, but I would, if you're in sales like myself, there are different professional groups that cater to sales executives, sales management, or if there's particular technology like cloud technology. There are professional groups out there that cater specifically to this birds of a feather kind of concept. So I would join those professional groups, get involved, engage with them, and that's a good way, again, to get yourself better known and to be able to demonstrate your level of expertise in your field of work. The last thing I want to talk about is the time that you do networking. So there's a couple different theories out there. Mashable, when I did some research, I found this from Mashable that says that only 8.3% of Americans use LinkedIn during work hours, whereas other social platforms like Facebook, they're on these different social media platforms like 30% of the time during the workday. So I actually found this to be kind of interesting. I guess it kind of depends on the type of job you have and the industry that you're in or whatever. But I was a little surprised that only 8+ % people use LinkedIn during the day. But according to Mashable, if that's true, that would suggest that in order for you to maximize the effectiveness and your exposure on LinkedIn, you should really do more updating and networking and connection requests and things like that after hours and not during the day. I'm not sure that's all true, frankly. I tended to use LinkedIn much more during the day, It's probably true that Mondays aren't great because people are kind of overwhelmed with getting the week started on Mondays, and Fridays people tend to lose a little bit of focus perhaps. So I find Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays are best, usually early in the morning or later in the afternoon. I find are good times. But in the end, test it out yourself. Use different hours, different days of the week. Use after hour or after work hours and see what works for you based on what you're looking for in the industry that you're in. So as I promised in the beginning, I want to give you some resources that I think you might want to check out. So I find that if you go to YouTube and just simply search using LinkedIn for job search, there's a lot of really great content out there. Specifically, there's a person out there, Heather Austin, who has a number of videos out there that are very, very helpful. She specifically has a video, and I actually provided the link here on this PowerPoint slide, but this particular link goes directly to a video that she does around specifically how to use LinkedIn to look for a job. She will tell you where to click, how to click, exactly the how-tos on using LinkedIn, way more than I have today. So go to YouTube, do some searches. There's a lot of great videos out there. And again, if you don't know how to use LinkedIn or don't currently have a profile, there are videos out there as well that go into a great amount of detail about how to use LinkedIn and how to set up your profile. And I've also provided my contact information as well. If you need any help, feel free to email me, and if I can help you in some way, I certainly will.